New details tonight in a controversy involving a Southern Kentucky school board chairman. Why state police are now investigating him.
The reason EMS crews in Frankfort might not take you immediately to the hospital after you call 911.
Doctors have given her just weeks to live, but a Central Kentucky teenager with cancer has defied similar odds before. See how she's not giving up.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening. More controversy tonight surrounding a southeastern Kentucky school board chairman.
Dexter Smith is head of the Knox County School Board. He faces a perjury investigation because it came to light he does not meet requirements for the elected office by not having a high school diploma. Tonight, state police say he may not have only lied, he may have also cheated to get his GED. WKYT Sean Moody is live now in Knox County with our top story at 6.
Hey, Amber, the Knox County School Superintendent says this controversy is really kind of giving the whole school system a black eye. Kentucky State Police say School Board Chairman Dexter Smith had someone else take the GED exam for him. This comes after it came to light that the online high school diploma Smith had from Nation High School isn't recognized by the state of Kentucky. To hold an elected school board position in Kentucky, you must have a high school diploma or its equivalent. To move past that, Smith said he took the GED. 2 weeks ago, though, Kentucky State Police said they launched a perjury investigation involving Smith, and today said he didn't actually earn that GED himself.
We can now confirm that Mr. Smith did not take the GED exam himself. We have learned that an individual took that exam for him, and at this time we're still investigating.
Outgoing Knox County Superintendent Kelly Sprinkles said the whole thing puts Knox County in a bad light. Smith was one of 3 board members who voted against renewing Sprinkles' contract.
We want our school system and everyone involved in our school system to be seen in a positive light. And obviously when allegations like this are made, it not only affects individuals, but it affects the school system as well.
Now, Kentucky State Police say Smith did go to the Jackson County Adult Education Center to take the exam, and they say an employee there took that exam for him. The attorney for the Jackson County school system said that employee retired on Monday after the investigation came to light. Live in Barberville, Sean Moody, WKYT.
Sean, thank you. We reached out to Smith but have not heard back from him. Kentucky State Police said they plan to present the case to a Knox County grand jury.
Governor Bevin has decreased state funding cuts to public colleges and universities. The governor ordered immediate cuts of 4.5% to higher education earlier this month. He reduced the cuts to 2% and completely restored funding to Kentucky State University. The changes come ahead of a hearing tomorrow on the lawsuit Attorney General Andy Beshear filed, saying the cuts are illegal. The governor is asking for a judge to dismiss the case. And Governor Bevin made the cuts yesterday, the same day Governor Bevin says his office uncovered corruption during the administration of former Governor Steve Beshear. Part of Governor Bevin's claims is that state workers were coerced into giving donations to Democratic candidates, including Attorney General Andy Beshear. Governor Bevin said that Attorney General Beshear should give back the questionable donations given to his campaign. Beshear responded today.
I would never, ever pressure anyone to give for any reason, and I do not believe that other folks out there would either. I am for strict enforcement of all ethics laws and of transparency.
The Attorney General says he's waiting for a routine audit of his campaign funds to be completed and will donate any remaining money to a government watchdog organization.
A man convicted in a 30-year-old murder will stay in prison at least 5 more years. The state parole board denied Eric Hayden's request for parole today. Police say Hayden and his roommate Clarence Jones robbed and killed Jones' co-worker at Columbia Steakhouse on Alexandria Drive in 1986. Today, Hayden changed his story about what happened that night, saying that he came for the robbery and was just the getaway driver.
If I could, I would do everything in my power to change it, but I can't. Only thing I can do with that is ask for forgiveness.
Hayden told the board the crime was motivated by greed. The men stole less than $5,000 from the restaurant. A judge has ruled a man accused of killing his mother competent to stand trial. Police say Jack Clemens killed Shirley Clemens at her home on River Park Circle last July. A doctor with the Kentucky Correctional Psychiatric Center said he found Clemens suffers from social phobia anxiety and has trouble with mood swings. Today, the doctor testified that with medication and testing, Clemens is mentally competent.
Based upon the testimony, based upon the report, I do find you to be competent to testify.
Mr. Clemens was able to talk about his situation. He understands what's going on. He's now able to communicate about it, which is a big improvement from where we were.
Clemens' next hearing is scheduled for May 5th.
An appeals court says a Central Kentucky woman can be sent to Bosnia to face war crime charges. Arza Basic is accused of murder and torture during the civil war in Bosnia more than 20 years ago. Her lawyers argued there's a treaty that does not allow the extradition of U.S. citizens to Bosnia and that authorities there do not have the proper arrest warrant. The Herald Leader reports the judges granted a request keeping Basic from being extradited until the U.S. Supreme Court considers her challenge. A man is dead after a morning crash here in Lexington. Police say a pickup hit 67-year-old John Fairchild's SUV head-on Mason Headley near Versailles Road about 8 this morning. We are told that witnesses pulled Fairchild from the SUV until help arrived. He was rushed to UK Hospital, where the coroner says he died of head injuries.
The state has shut down a daycare after a 2-year-old's death. Investigators say a staff member with Little Kings and Queens Childcare in Louisville picked Levante Swain up at his home, but never took him to the daycare. No one noticed him until the van arrived at an elementary school to pick up another child. The Cabinet for Health and Family Services says it has investigated the daycare several times in the past, including as recently as 6 months ago. When you or a loved one is having a medical emergency, you expect EMS workers to take you to the hospital as quickly as they can. Now, when you call 911 in Frankfort, you may not get there as fast as you want.
Hillary Thornton shows us when it comes to certain conditions, treatment on scene might be best.
In their line of work, minutes and even seconds matter, especially when treating patients experiencing cardiac arrest.
First 6 minutes of an event, just hands-only CPR by a CPR-trained person can make the world of difference.
Immediate CPR along with continuous compressions critical to saving a life.
Found that by just putting a patient, loading them up and moving to the ambulance, that we have actually not done the proper amount of compressions, and there are actually long periods of time where compression is not being done at all. Also, once in transport, EMS crews are standing up, they're not secured, it's not a safe environment to do CPR in an ambulance.
That is why Frankfort Fire and EMS crews like this one will be staying on scene longer when treating cardiac arrest patients.
The care that we can provide on scene initially is identical to what they do in the hospital.
Protocols they believe will help in their efforts to save lives. However, they do understand there are concerns.
Why aren't you taking my mom to the hospital? Why are you all sitting here when you could be going to the hospital? We recognize that, and it is a very legitimate concern.
Which is why they are training officers at each station on how to effectively explain to family members on scene their new process.
This is a change in our own mindset. In the past, 22 years ago when I started, the mindset was get them in the ambulance, let's get them to help. Well, now we have to keep telling ourselves we are the help.
In Frankfort, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
We asked the Lexington Fire Department if this is a change that they would consider, and the department said it is, quote, aware of this model, and we will continue to stay abreast of and evaluate these trends. The staffing of our ambulances, the close proximity of high-quality hospitals, and the advanced equipment we carry give us the flexibility to let our lead medics make the best decision possible for each individual patient. Rain is coming in, and it's going to kind of disrupt our warm and sunny days, it sounds like.
Yeah, showers and storms will be moving in over the next couple of days. WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's here now with checking that forecast.
Yeah, good looking skies again today, though. And next couple of days, we need the drops. We're going to get some scattered stuff into the region. Live look outside now. It's that famous mix of sun and clouds that we've had all day long. Lexington, surrounding areas, 82 degrees right now. humidity. What a run of bone dry conditions out there. Humidity at 23% right now. Winds are coming at us at around 8 miles an hour from the southwest. Still 85 Jackson, warm spot into southeastern Kentucky. London not far behind at 84. Every location 80 degrees or better. Still at 78, if not a local 80 by 7 o'clock this evening. After sunset, low 70s will turn into the upper 60s by 11 o'clock as we hang on to dry conditions. Defender Radar Network. Let's go back to the west to find a little light rain into western Kentucky. Showers, thunderstorms, though, lining up ahead of a cold front that is out across the plain states. Colder air slowly moderating behind that. All of that works its way toward the region with scattered showers and thunderstorms becoming likely, followed by another good-looking weekend. Busy 7-day forecast when I come back in just a few minutes, by the way, which highlights a new hour-by-hour forecast, guys.
She has beat the odds once before, and this time, though, doctors say there's nothing that they can do. 16-year-old Michaela Carell has an aggressive form of cancer in her brain, and doctors have given her just weeks to live.
Well, now Michaela and her family are determined to make the most of the time she has left. And as Michaela told WKYT's Garrett Weimer, she's not done fighting. The story's new at 6.
Just like any high school junior, Michaela Carell can't wait for prom on Saturday.
Dancing with a boy.
What else?
And get my first kiss. Practically.
She hopes.
I asked Dad if it was okay with him, and he said, yeah, I'm age appropriate. So.
But unlike most teens, this 16-year-old and her family know she may never be 17.
You want her to get married, graduate high school, get married, have babies, have grandbabies to bring to you.
Michaela's already a living miracle.
8.5 years ago, they gave us a month to a year to live.
Michaela's not afraid. She surrounds herself with angels, and she's full of faith.
Mom, I had the bestest dream last night.
So Jesus came to see me.
Jesus came to see me. She said, what do you do? What do you look like? I told her that he put his hand on my shoulder and said, I am going to heal you.
And she's still full of fight.
Take back my song,
prove I'm alright, song.
In Nicholasville, Garrett Weimer.
I'll prove my fight song, and I don't really care if nobody else believes, 'cause I still got
a lot of fight left in me.
WKYT.
I think she does have a lot of fight left in her. The Carells say they're trying to make as many memories as they can in the time that they have left. After prom on Saturday, the family is going to the beach next week. They've set up a GoFundMe page called Michaela's Hope Fund to raise money for medical bills and funeral expenses. If you'd like to help out, we have a link to that page on WKYT.com. The gas station's employees are on alert after a bold case of vandalism. What they say someone has done to their building twice.
And a court has ruled on Kim Davis's lawsuit against the state of Kentucky. Their decision next.
Losing a leg can be devastating, but choosing to stand can be life-changing.
I'm alive, and that's all that matters.
A lesson in adapting dreams when life takes an unexpected turn, Thursday at 6 on WKYT.
Three new kinds of jaw-dropping primetime burgers, only at Frisch's Big Boy.
Step right up for something fun. For just $1, the excitement's begun. The game's called Keno, and you can play it in an alley. Or you can play it with your best friend, Sally. You can play it here or there. You can play it almost anywhere. Play with many numbers or just a few. How you play is all up to you. You can put down a little or put down a lot. So what do you say? Give Keno a shot. Just pick your numbers and hope you win, and a few minutes later, you can play it again. Now you can play Keno wherever Kentucky Lottery games are sold. Fueling imagination, funding education.
It's Toyota on Nicholasville's 2015 Toyota Blowout. We must clear out all our remaining 2015 winter inventory, so you're getting once-in-a-lifetime blowout prices. Used 2015 Corollas, only $15,990. I'll say that again. 2015 Corollas, $15,990. Used 2015 Toyota Camrys, just $18,990. Let me repeat that. 2015 Camrys, $18,990. These blowout prices are crazy, and they won't last long. Hurry to Toyota Nicholasville, the big Toyota store. Where price sells cars. ToyotaNicholasville.com.
What's the biggest thing in home comfort? Fayette Heating and Air, the largest HVAC company in central Kentucky. When your system needs service, bigger is better. That's because they have more than 70 vehicles on the road. So there's one near your home 24/7, 365. Call to schedule your complete system checkup, only $59. For expert service day or night, everywhere in central Kentucky.
It's an all-systems-go weekend at Green's Toyota of Lexington during their 48-hour sales explosion. This weekend only, 0% financing on 10 different new Toyota models, including new 2016 Camry, Corolla, RAV4, and RAV4 Hybrid, with up to $2,000 in customer cash available on select models. And save up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Toyotas with our Green Saver coupon. Hurry in to Kentucky's #1 Toyota dealer, Green's Toyota.
Great people, great cars, think Green's.
There's people who care where I'm going, and good friends who welcome me home. So get a full tank of freedom, drive the American road. And with a full tank of freedom, find your own highway. We'll take you wherever you go. Take you wherever you go.
Three new kinds of jaw-dropping primetime burgers, only at Frisch's Big Boy.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
A federal appeals court has dismissed a lawsuit Rowan County Clerk Kim Davis filed against the state of Kentucky. She filed the suit after refusing to issue marriage licenses with her name on them to same-sex couples, saying it violated her religious beliefs. Last week, the governor signed a bill into law removing the clerk's names from marriage licenses.
Workers at a Lexington gas station are keeping their eyes peeled for brazen vandalism suspect. The manager of the Shell station in Beaumont Center says a teenager climbed a ladder to the buildings and dumped paint all over the side. The incidents happened on 2 different days during store hours.
We plan on prosecuting, so at least we can recoup the expenses that we'll be out of to clean our side of the building and replace the canopy. So I'm sure his parents won't be happy if we catch him.
The ladder access to the roof is now locked.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Shower and thunderstorm action ready to increase across the region over the next few days. We could use the drops right now. It's all about summertime in the bluegrass. Temperatures still into the low and in some cases middle 80s for the 4th day in a row. For Lexington, we haven't accomplished that feat of 80s for 4 consecutive days in April since back in 2010. So it's been a little while, and we will take it and run with it. 24-hour planner says that streak likely comes to an end tomorrow. It is not going to rain all day. Scattered will be the name of the storm game tomorrow. Temperatures will hit the middle 70s, and at any point tomorrow, you're fair game to have a shower or thunderstorm pass over where you live. So let's take the umbrellas to be on the safe side. Defender Radar Network, nothing up close and personal. Get into western Kentucky now. We start to see some showers and maybe some rumbles of thunder just to the west of Fulton County in far western Kentucky. See this action across parts of Missouri, Arkansas. That slowly works its way toward our part of the world as we go into the second half of tomorrow and especially through tomorrow night. Let me stay over here. Thursday, on your next 3 days, talking about a shower or thunderstorm chance. Temperatures in the 70s. Much better threat for some showers and storms around on Friday. Deeper we get into the day, the better the chance we see some drying skies. Although some late afternoon models suggesting most of the day on Friday may at least have a threat for some rain. Saturday, though, continues to look good. Highs are back in the 70s as the partly sunny skies take over. 7 o'clock this evening through 11 o'clock. Clear skies for many of us outside of some high clouds. Now we go through the day tomorrow, and we have that chance for a shower or thunderstorm. One little batch tomorrow morning, then we go into the second half of the afternoon toward the evening. Coming at us in a couple of rounds of showers and storms. Not like it's a constant rain. A little better chance as we go into our Friday. And by Friday, you notice the different direction of the clouds there coming in from the north and northwest. That's a cooler wind that will carry us into Friday evening and Saturday morning with 40s into many areas, though some leftover clouds may keep us into the low 50s across far southeastern Kentucky. Same computer model, same printout of greater than an inch on a local scale over the next couple of days. That would be okay in my book. So your 3-day threat track again, just a storm or two tomorrow, little better chance on Friday, and your Saturday forecast, thumbs up as we go into the weekend. We may hit 80 again Sunday into Monday. Pattern change. We've been hawking it for a little while coming up for that last week of April into the first week of May. I think it's one that will throw some rounds of showers and storms our way. Would not be surprised that over the next 2 to 3 weeks, guys, the pattern, if it doesn't turn rather soggy across the bluegrass state. We got to make up for this kind of dry spell we've had.
It's going to save me from being out there with the hose and working harder than I have to.
But then the grass takes off and you got to mow even harder.
I know.
It's always a trade-off.
It's a revolving cycle.
Thanks.
Marcus Lee, the next in line to test the unpredictable waters in the NBA draft.
Yeah, it looks like Marcus could be a second rounder, but then again, who knows? Last night, a pair of Wildcats made 2 of the most staggering plays you will ever see in baseball. You'll hear from Storm Wilson and Marcus Carson next.
First Alert Weather is brought to you by Columbia Gas of Kentucky.
Are you digging a garden? Are you putting up a mailbox? Always call 811 before you dig. It's not just a good idea, it's the law. Columbia Gas of Kentucky.
Spring is here, so get out there in a new 2016 Go Anywhere Subaru with symmetrical all-wheel drive. Right now, own a new 2016 Forester for only $23,890, or lease it for just $219 per month. Or own a new 2016 Legacy for only $21,900, or lease it for just $219 per month. Discover why Quantrell is Kentucky's #1 sales volume Subaru dealer for the last 4 years. Come into Quantrell today. We have great lease and finance specials.
Once through, we'll stop Donald Trump.
See, Ted Cruz too?
Y señor, my pape.
Who?
My pape.
Tape?
Pape, my pape. The conservative running for Congress will help Trump build the wall.
Will this Mike Pape help Ted Cruz repeal Obamacare?
See?
We must stop Mike Pape. Vámonos!
I'm Mike Pape, and I approve this message because no one will stop me from standing up for you.
What we do is not about sickness. It's about living. All of life's moments, big and small. Each triumph and challenge. Because you were made to live, and live well. And we're here to make sure you do. Let us show you how care is supposed to be. Lexington Clinic. Your doctors for life.
Folks around here appreciate good basketball and fast thoroughbreds. But most of all, we love our tough, dependable Ram trucks. And when it comes to Ram sales, nobody does it better than Bob Allen Motor Mall. Bob Allen is the #1 volume Ram dealer in Kentucky, 5 years running. And all new Ram purchases include powertrain coverage for life. Save more during Ram Truck Month at the Bob Allen Motor Mall on Maple Avenue in Danville. It's good to be #1.
Race into Logan's for your winning outfit and save during Logan's huge Derby sale. Our entire stock of over 2,000 name brand suits and sport coats are now reduced with savings up to 60%. Now through Derby Day, save 25% on all Allen Edmonds shoes. Our entire stock of Southern Tide sportswear is now 20% off. Hundreds of Famous Maker ties are now at least 50% off. And Logan's has Central Kentucky's finest selection of sportswear from Vineyard Vines and Peter Millar. Find your winning outfit on sale now at Logan's and the Tates Creek Center.
Are you planting a tree? Are you digging a swimming pool? Always call 811 before you dig. It's not just a good idea, it's the law. Columbia Gas of Kentucky.
As we told you earlier, UK forward Marcus Lee today said he plans on entering the NBA draft. In an interview with ESPN's Jeff Goodman, the former McDonald's All-American said his single goal was to go to the NBA this year. However, he did leave open the possibility of returning to school. Lee said he wasn't planning on hiring an agent. Lee averaged 6.5 points, 6 rebounds a game last year for the Wildcats. Kentucky coach John Calipari is in the Big Apple to meet with Mohamed Bamba and Amadou Diallo. Bamba, a 6'11", 210-pound five-star power forward, and Diallo, 6'5" shooting guard, also a five-star variety in the class of 2017. Both are ranked number 2 in their positions, and both have offers from many of the same major players from across the country. Last night in Kentucky, 7-6 loss to Louisville. Wildcat outfielders Storm Wilson and Marcus Carson made 2 highlight reel plays. In fact, Wilson was number 1 and Carson number 4 in the ESPN top 10. In case you missed it, third inning, Luke Becker and Tristan Pompey will collide in shallow right field. Wilson, make the grab to prevent a possible hit. Then in the 7th inning, with Louisville looking to tie the game, Carson scales the wall and robs Brendan McKay of a home run. Not bad for a guy 5'7", right?
He's 5'8". Give him that. No, I was telling everybody I thought that was a better catch than mine. You know, he actually had to show some athleticism. I was just in the right place. So, yeah, it was great. I was excited for him. That was awesome. You know, it was really cool being both of us being on sports, and you know, it's a good time for us. So.
In the fall and stuff, we'll do like a drill or just like work on like wall drills and like just filling for the wall. And we actually like did like a couple of drills where we was like robbing home runs. And our wall's a little bit taller than Louisville's, but so I guess it might have helped a little bit yesterday.
Practice makes perfect, right? Last night in San Diego, Pirates and Padres, a balk is called on San Diego pitcher Colin Ray right there. He clearly lost contact with the pitching rubber. Andrew McCutchen to the plate to score. But wait a minute. Guys in black want to get together. They reverse their decision and then reverse it once more. Runner scores. That allows Lexington native and former UK star Andy Green to not go out without a fight. Gets his first ejection as a manager, probably the only time you'll ever see a manager get tossed without cussing. Andy Green, a heck of a guy. For the UK softball Wildcats, they have a chance to step out of conference tonight. They're at Western Kentucky. They'll head to Alabama after that. The Wildcats are an impressive 19-1 in road games this year. That includes an eye-opening sweep at LSU.
We get a consistent routine when we're on the road. When we're home, you're dealing with a lot of things in terms of you're not only working with school, but you also have your family coming in town and things like that. So I think part of the thing when you're young is trying to figure out how to manage all that stuff at the same time. And so half of our team is freshmen and they have all these people coming in town, but I think they'll figure it out.
Sam and Amber, back to you.
They eventually do figure it out,
yes,
don't
they do.
Final check of your first alert forecast is next.
Then on the CBS Evening News, officials in hot water authorities have announced the first criminal charges in the Flint, Michigan water contamination case.
Kentucky lottery jackpot sequence has been initiated. Prepare for current jackpot amount.
Wednesday's Powerball jackpot is $227 million.
Sleep Outfitters is proud to premiere the coolest bed in America, the new Tempur-Breeze, and you can try it here first. The redesigned Tempur-Breeze combines 3 innovative cooling technologies to help you get to sleep faster and sleep better and cooler all night long. And with 0% APR financing for 5 years, the new Tempur-Breeze is cool and affordable. The new Tempur-Breeze, it's the next generation cool, and you can try it first at Sleep Outfitters.
I could get used to this.
I could get used to this.
The luxuriously transformed 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid.
I could get used to this.
Once you experience this level of luxury,
I could get used to this.
there's no going back. Lease the 2016 ES 350 for $339 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
I have to like my doctors. I've got to feel like they have a personal interest in me. Not that I'm a basketball coach, but that I'm somebody they know and they are concerned about. I could go any place for my medical care, but I chose Danville and the Ephraim McDowell Medical Center.
A trusted leader in heart care, Ephraim McDowell Regional Medical Center, where excellence is our only standard.
At Window World, you get the best price right up front.
Our windows feature the Good Housekeeping Seal
and come with a lifetime limits warranty.
Act now and get a house full of windows for as low as $79 a month installed.
Window World, simply the best for less.
What's your RAV4?
It's for getting places you could never get to before. It's for going out in the town in style. It's for your honey-do list. It's for 34 mpg in the new RAV4 Hybrid. How far will you take it? The 2016 Toyota RAV4 with available all-wheel drive and more technology and safety features. Lease a RAV4 LE now for just $199 a month, or this RAV4 Hybrid for only $229 a month. Toyota, let's go places.
Thank you for the cereal.
The crayons made a big difference.
It may not seem like much to you,
but it means the world to us.
Kroger stores are increasing local community rewards donations to $3.6 million, and you can help decide where that money goes. Sign up at Kroger.com/community rewards and link your Plus card to the local group that matters most to you. When we all join together, there's nothing we can't do. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
Bluegrass Medical Aesthetics wants to help you on the path to wellness and healthy youthful aging. Hormone replacement, medically supervised weight loss, Botox, Kybella, and more. Located in Georgetown next to Qdoba. Visit us at bmaky.com.
Boy, this is some weather to be eating your dinner outside, patio, somewhere.
Is that an invitation?
Yeah, you cooking?
No?
I guess now I am. I walked right into that,
Firing up
didn't
the
I?
grill out back? I mean, come
we
on.
better tell Steve real quick.
Are we taking orders? 75 tomorrow. Could be an isolated shower, thunderstorm. A little better chance coming up tomorrow night into Friday weekend. Continues to look good, near 80 Sunday.
What if we just sat on the patio? How about that?
How about we just sit inside and look outside? What's next?
We'll see you back here tonight at 11, everybody.
CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley is next.